Peace and blessing, Reggie Hubbard here in support of Kidney Action Week. I'm the founder and chief serving officer of Active Peace Yoga. And some of you might be wondering, why is a yoga teacher or a meditation teacher in support of this? Y'all, one of the blessings of my teaching practice is that I deal a lot with grief and loss and making sense of all of that. And when we talk about chronic disease, one of the things that we don't talk enough about, not only from the patient side or the caregiver side, is the sense of loss that people feel. So whether it be loss of a way of life, loss of functional ability in the body, loss of norms, and there's also tremendous change that goes along with it. And even those of us who are well practiced, change is not easy. It's an essential part of the human experience, but that doesn't make it easy. And so what I'm hopeful to do in our time together is to normalize the feelings of grief that you have, share some techniques that I have used in my grief journey, and just normalize the experience, because one of the things that happens in the course of processing so much change and grief is that we think that we're alone. And I'm here to tell you, from my heart to yours, you're not alone. There is a community of patients and caregivers that have gone through this and or are going through this, with whom you can find support, you can find wisdom, and you can navigate as best you can a circumstance that you surely didn't necessarily ask for, right? So what I want to talk about first is welcoming a sense of loss, meaning you feel what you feel, right? So you may have difficulty, you may be struggling with the diagnosis, you may be struggling with a lot of the changes that are happening or have happened, and the incessant nature of the change, right? Um, I may not have many answers for you, but what I'm hopeful to share is that it's okay to ask the right questions. It's okay to be upset. It's okay to be bothered. Just give voice to it. Because when we keep it inside, unprocessed grief doesn't do anything for the body, it doesn't do anything for the spirit, and it just keeps us in limbo rather than just giving voice to it, giving space for it. And when we give space for it, it allows us to make wiser decisions. It allows us to create community. It allows us to know that we're not alone. So the second thing I want to talk about is, how do you manage the changes, right? So there may be, with all change that one might feel, either, like I said, on the patient side or the caregiver side, there may be loneliness, there may be hopelessness, there may be sadness, there may be all sorts of stress, uncertainty, anger, guilt, shame. All of these emotions come up when a diagnosis happens and a treatment plan happens, and all the corresponding changes that go with these things. It's a lot. And you may be also asking yourself, what do I do now? That may be a consistent question. And not only asking these questions about what do I do, but how do I feel? And then finding the words for that, or at least giving the space to find the words, I found in my journey has been essential to creating emotional stability to weather the storms and changes of life. So, what I want to offer is two things. I want to offer a meditation technique called RAIN. RAIN is recognize, allow, investigate, and nurture. So, we're going to hold space for feelings that we have, recognize them, allow ourselves to feel what we feel, investigate what's behind that, and then nurture what we see, right? Because one of the things that we often do in life is, we get bad news or we get something that's not to our liking, we pretend like it doesn't exist. Guess what? You can pretend like it doesn't exist and it still exists. And denial is something that allows, denial is never a good thing. That's just the easiest way to say it. So it's with humility, honor, love, and grace that I bow before you, grateful for the opportunity to be of service to you in this moment. So what I want you to do, wherever you find yourself, you can find a cross-legged seat, you can sit in a chair, you can lay down, whatever's comfortable for you in this moment, just be present with it, right? So find a posture in the body. Maybe you Take neck from side to side, shrug the shoulders, and just notice that stress may exist there. And in this motion, creating space, right? And then, if comfortable, close the eyes. But if that's too much, then at least soften the eyes and allow your gaze to be more internal. Notice the breath in the body. Notice how the body feels after the shoulder shrugs and the neck work. And setting our focus and attention on grief. Naming grief and noticing how it shows up in the body. There may be tightness in the shoulders. There may be tightness in the chest. Hands might clench. Gently revisit fluid movement in the shoulders, fluid movement in the neck to bear witness to stress as it arises. And recognize, so when I say the word diagnosis, or when I say the word change, when I say the word chronic condition, notice and recognize what shows up when I offer these words. And tell yourself in this moment that whatever emotion showed up, it's okay. Maybe you place a hand on the heart, maybe you place a hand on the leg, maybe you pat yourself on the chest, in the heart area. And it's okay to feel what you're feeling. It's okay to feel anger and sadness. It's okay to feel sorrow. It's okay to feel confusion. It's okay to feel sadness. So recognize what you feel. And let's take some deep breaths into the nose. Exhale out the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Maybe you keep the hand on the heart. Maybe you remove the hand from the heart. And now that you've recognized what you feel and given voice to it, given names to it, allow yourself to feel what you feel. Use our time together, the several moments we have in community, to feel the feels. If at any point feeling the feels is too much, it's okay to step away and give yourself space to process. But bear in mind what I said, step away. I didn't say run away. So allowing yourself to feel what you feel and noticing where you feel it. Maybe offering a massage to an area of tightness that emerge in your physical body. Maybe deepening the breath and exhaling out the mouth. If tears have surfaced, allowing tears to flow. But just being present with what has shown up. Whether it be grief, whether it be anger, sadness, all it wants is your attention. It doesn't want to dominate. It just wants to be seen. So allow yourself to see and name what you're feeling and where you're feeling it. And then investigating what you have noticed? Is there a way to change the breath to shift the emotion? Is there a way to change your posture to give more space for the emotion? Is there a journal to the side of you that you can begin to write down either in this moment or at the end of our time together what you've learned? So investigate, inquire, be curious. And it seems crazy to say this, but an attitude of curiosity when going through change is, for me anyway, has made it easier to navigate as opposed to pretending like something doesn't exist. So curiosity in rapid change as opposed to denial has softened the edges and allowed me to be more present with it and allowed me to be of better service to myself or other people. So investigating what has come up for you. There is no right, there is no wrong. You feel what you feel. And perhaps the rightest thing that we have done thus far is to give space to the feelings that we have, to name them, to see where they are in the body, to investigate, to allow ourselves. It's okay not to be okay. But acknowledging that with an air of compassion and curiosity rather than denial and critique. Because failure to give space for how we feel only compounds the feeling. When we give space for it, it can lessen and soften over time. Then shifting to the N in rain, we have recognized what's going on. We have allowed ourselves to feel what we feel. We've investigated it. Now nurture. So maybe you place a hand on the heart. Maybe you place a hand on the side of the face. Maybe you pat yourself on the forehead, say it's okay to feel what I feel. Offering yourself kindness, because change is a lot in any circumstance. But stepping into these feelings, stepping into the awareness of these feelings, doing so from an open heart and a clearer mind, only yields positive results. And when we nourish and nurture what we come up with in these practices, we can form wise action, right? We can figure out how to ask for help. We can figure out what we have and what we don't have. We can make better plans to manage and navigate the uncertainty that where we often find ourselves. So for the next minute or so, being kind to yourself. So we've recognized, we've allowed, we've investigated with curiosity. Now be kind to yourself. Be like, yeah, man, I feel this way, and it's okay. And be okay with however you feel, and be happy and proud of yourself for allowing yourself to feel what you feel. Because, loved ones, in this opportunity to share together, it is my goal to normalize your feelings and remind you of what's possible as we process these feelings. Another couple breaths here, being kind to ourselves and celebrating the fact that we've been kind to ourselves. Now, as we head towards conclusion, I don't want to leave you hanging. And what I mean by that is sometimes in meditation where it's like, okay, it's over. I'm not going to do that. But what I will do is for the next several moments, play this array of sounds so we can soften into the feelings that we have, right? So rather than just being left out there in a raw, vulnerable state, allow yourself to be soothed. And as the bowls resonate, allowing ourselves to hear chimes. And as the chimes fade away, one more offering from the crystal bowls. Noticing how you feel in general, noticing how you feel after experiencing this sound. We'll take three clearing breaths. One hand on the heart, one hand on the belly, wherever you find yourself, to presence yourself with the breath, to presence yourself in the body with how we feel. And it's my earnest hope and prayer that the sound and the meditative experience have given you more space, not only to process what came up for you, but to hold space for hope. Three clearing breaths. Inhale deep through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale, feeling the connection not only with yourself, but with others who have been through what we're going through. Exhale, ground in that connection. Inhale deeply. Exhale sweetly. With gratitude, I'm hopeful that this experience has been a blessing to you. Love, grace, and peace. Peace.